Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines. We have dynamism in youth entrepreneurship in the region of Tujura. The death toll rises to 24, including 6 children in Gaza. Israeli raid on Gaza. Welcome to our newsroom. Messages of congratulations from the President of the Republic to his Ivorian counterpart. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has sent a congratulatory message to his Ivorian counterpart, Alassane Ouattara, whose country is currently commemorating the anniversary of its national holiday. In his message, President Guelleh wishes health and happiness to Mr. Alassane Ouattara and more well-being, progress, prosperity to the friendly people of Côte d'Ivoire. He then welcomed the privileged ties between the two countries and expressed his determination to work constantly to strengthen them. Be sure, Mr. President, that you will always find with the government and people of Djibouti all the necessary support to increase the level of exchange and cooperation between our two nations, said the President of the Republic in the same document before reiterating his warm congratulations to all the friendly Ivorian people. In the news of the country, the Ministry of Health received today an important batch of drug medical equipment. This reception was carried out by the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, accompanied by senior officials of his department, including the Director of CAM, Mr. Hussein Ahmed Miguel, and the Central Purchasing of Essential Drugs and Materials. Indeed, 10 containers of drugs and medical equipment were received this morning by the Minister of Health. The bulk of these materials is made up of dialysis machine and its various components that will be used for the next 6 months. All these medicines and materials will replenish the existing stock and will be distributed to all the hospitals and will then be distributed to all health structures in Djibouti City and inland regions. It is worth mentioning that the purchase was not made by fund with the Ministry of Health's own budget. For his part, the director of CAM, Dr. Ahmed Hussein Miguel, indicated that in the framework of the applications of the instructions given by the Minister of Health to have available the equipment and consumable for dialysis, we have just received it done. The 5 machines that you see here in front of you, in fact, in order to prevent any kinds of breakage or failure of machine, we have also purchased the machine to replace the obsolete part and when needed. As part of the fight against poverty and unemployment, we have recently seen new dynamism in the entrepreneurship of young people who have launched commercial activities by offering their services locally to citizens without having to travel to the capital. These young people are able to carry out their activities thanks to a favorable environment following the creations of structuring projects such as the creations of the port of Tadjoura, the road infrastructure linking Djibouti to Ethiopia, and also thanks to the will of the young people of Tadjoura who have decided to take their destiny into their own hands and participate in the development of their regions at their level. The government supports these new commercial activities of young people and within the framework of projects carried out in the regions by national instructions such as the CPEC on the ADDS and international institutions such as the PNUD UNDP, which has recently trained young people. But many young people in Tadjoura have started entrepreneurship with their own will and their own means. Thus, Said Balla opened a welding workshop after 6 months training. Tadjourians are no longer obliged to travel to the capital to do the welding, make iron gates, and do all the welding work for tricycles, motorcycles, and even agricultural equipment. With this workshop, there is no need to travel to the capital for welding work. The prefect of Tadjoura, Hassan Dabele Ahmed, these young people to encourage them to persevere and become an example for other young people, the children of great social promoters in the regions who has pasted away from have opened a new hardware store in the White City called Kankileri Haji Humad, which reinforces the access of the access to construction materials which are available in quality and quantity in the Tajura itself. The prefect of Tajura, Hassan Dabali Ahmed, said that the promotion of entrepreneurship in the region is a policy initiated by the President of the Republic with the support of national and international institutions. The dynamism in the creation of commercial activities is the palpable reality in Tajura thanks to structuring projects such as the port and road infrastructure, but it is above all thanks to the will of the young people of Tajura who want to take their destiny into their own hands and who plan to participate in the development of their region. The young entrepreneurs emphasized that the opening of shops and services is a satisfaction of the need of the population of Tajura without moving to the capital and a timely opportunity to take control and participate in regional development at their level. The children of the late Hamad Daouda, former social promoters in the regions of Tajura, particularly in the village of Ardo, expressed their great satisfactions with the opening of a new kankileri called the Sheikh Hamad, an activity that will allow them to generate incomes and means likely to prevent them from losing their lives to drugs, a recurrent scourge among young people today. A business opened on the family's own financing that can satisfy the demand for the construction product. They advise young people to be creative in order to enter the private sector, since opportunities and jobs are not enough to satisfy all young people. The Customs Brigade continues its crusade against the contraband. Yesterday, the Customs, with the collaboration, the Customs Brigade, with the collaborations of the Gendarmerie, seizures of 25 package of cat worth 2,500,000 Djibouti francs were seized in the region of Arta, precisely between Wira and Pika 51. This product on board of vehicle, one seized were burned in the compound of the barracks, and another seizures of 13 package of cat in Shabelle on board of a Range Rover. This synergy between the Customs Brigade and Gendarmerie has allowed only this month of record seizures of contraband. Indeed, this is the result of a high-level political will decided by the different ministerial departments that are the defense, the interior, the trade, and the budget today. To overcome these scourges, which represent huge losses for the national economies, the elements of the territorial security and customs officers, wherever their presence in the territory, collaborate in the success of each operations of seizure of contraband. During his speech, the head of the brigade of Pika 51, Mr. Suleiman Hassan, thanked the elements of the Gendarmerie for their close collaboration. Launched since July 15, the Summer Games initiated by the State Secretariat for in charge of sports are in full swing in the capital and in the interior regions and are now entering the last square. It is therefore under a rainy skies that the city of Assajog was yesterday the scene of an important sporting event. Several sports disciplines were offered, including football, volleyball, cycling, pétanque, basketball. After the traditional ceremony of parade of the various participating teams, the competition started and held in the suspense of the public in jubilations in a perfect atmosphere of emotion and commitment. Other disciplines that were not well known by the general public and that were attractions of the summer were practiced. These games were held under the watchful eye of the elders and guardians of these noble and rich traditions invited for the occasion. In addition to the State Secretary in charge of sports, Hassan Mohamed Kamil, the event was attended by the local and sports authorities, namely the prefect of the region, Ali Sabih Musa Adam Migane, the president of the regional council, Sharmaki Hassan Alale, the coordinator of sports of the state Department, Ahmed Ali, the Deputy Regional Directors of the state, Ahmed Musa of CA, as well as several other local authorities and elders. In summer, Djiboutians pack their bags to warmer climates in this period of heat wave. Listen for more detail to Kasir Ali.
Period of heat wave where the mercury climbs, Djiboutian storms the beaches to escape the heat and to offer themselves a moment of coolness. Indeed, the beaches are a natural shelters against the heat waves, effective as soon as it is very hot in summer because of the sea breezes and the freshness of the sea. Families rush to the fast lanes leading to the nearest beaches. It is 2 p.m. on Siesta Beach. The thermometer shows already nearly 35 and degrees, feelings at 47 degrees. Young and women are numerous to pose at the edge of water during the afternoon. They go in mass in this place, which do not desimplify. It must be said that these are the working class neighborhood in the center of the city of Djiboutian capital in the city of Belbela that provide the main contingents of Badrs who invade the beaches, the Siesta, or little farther north, the city of Heron. Those who have the means to go in Gorambado, Dorale, or Arta beaches, for the average citizens, it will be Siesta or Heron. The peak is always on Friday. Families arrive with the seats, umbrellas, and other colors means they arrive armed with their supplies of light food such as homemade sandwich and bottles of fresh waters. When it is not too big, thermos fills with the color drinks and different flavor of grenadine syrup or sometimes vento, very popular in the popular neighborhood. We came here almost every Friday with my children. We live in Hayable. We sometimes have lunch here. That's why we did today. It's good to come here for children. They like to have fun, unlike the neighborhood where it is very hot. I don't come here very often, but this Friday we planned with our neighbors these little outings. Then we all came together with all our children, and we even brought our little 4 months old baby just to escape the heat wave. Alhamdulillah, here it is cool and we have a great times as a family. These brothers are undoubtedly having a great time and spending a pleasant afternoon well protected from the scorching heat of the Djiboutian summer. I prefer to come early because from 10 a.m. it is already too hot and at this time it is paradise. The weather is better after there and too many people and especially it is much too hot. Let's say that it is too hot. These spectacles offered by these borders remains very pleasant for the eye of a passerby who sometimes stop at the mixed noise of children who shoot the soccer games which are improved and the marine sport that these matters propose to each other. A little further on the first page posted that the team of lifeguards from the civil security, the national police, and the Coast Guard work and hardly they remain vigilant to try and to spot any possible dangers and sunstroke among the batters.
For the international scene, Gaza, the death toll has risen to 24, including 6 children. Listen to this report.
26 Palestinians, including 6 children, have been killed since the beginning of the raids of Israeli occupation forces on the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Ministry of Health said on Saturday an initial report by the Ministry of State that 15 people were killed, including a 5-year-old girl, and 140 injured. Egypt has offered to negotiate a ceasefire for a few hours between the Israeli occupation and Palestinian resistance, but the Palestinian Islamic Jihad responded by saying that the time had come to respond to the crimes of the Israeli occupation. Israeli occupation assigned on Friday on the most prominent leaders of the Taysir al-Jabari, which is the military wing of Palestinian Islamic Jihad, in a raid targeting a residential building in the Palestine Tower in central Gaza.
Kenyan's election campaign ends. Listen to Kasir Ali for more details.
Campaign ends. Surrounded by thousands of jubilant young activists, Kenyans' 2 presidential front-runners closed the campaign trail Saturday with 2 mega meetings in Nairobi throwing their weight behind Tuesday's close vote. Raila Odinga, 77, and William Ruto, 55, have been crisscrossing the country for months to convince the 22.1 million voters. From Saturday morning, the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi and its 60,000 seats were decorated with the orange and blue colors of Baba Daddy in Swahili, the nickname of Raila Odinga. They adhere to the promises of their candidate to fight against the endemic corruption in the country. Kenyans are set to go to the polls on Tuesday to choose a successor to Uhuru Kenyatta, who has been in office since 2013 and it is ineligible to run for a 3rd term. They are also expected to nominate local MPs and representatives for the country, consider an economic powerhouse and democratic anchor in East Africa.
An environment, Europe suffocates under a 4th heat wave. Listen for more detail.
Many European countries such as France, Spain, and Portugal have been experiencing a series of heat waves since the beginning of the summer. The heat waves and the drought are worrying that France is already in a historic drought. Indeed, rain is not on the menu of the weather forecast for the next few days, even in regions usually more waters. Portugal is always and also hit by an exceptional drought. This country has experienced the hottest July in the last 92 years, according to the National Meteorological Institute. The drought has also worsened. At the end of July, 55% of the country was classified as severely dry and 45% are as extremely dry. In July, the heat waves that hit Portugal and other European countries caused devastating forest fire. In Spain, the fires continue to advance in the northwest of the country. In total, at least 2,950 hectares have been burned in Galicia since the beginning of the 3rd heat waves that crossed Spain late last week.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.